I'm Sebastian. I'll be your tour guide. Vince is your driver. We just ask you to remain seated while we're moving for your safety and comfort. So it's going to be a pretty small group today, so feel free if you want to spread out. We have plenty of room for you. If you want to change position at any time, we just ask you to do so while we're at a full stop. Please don't move around the vehicle while the vehicle itself is in motion. So this whole area, believe it or not, was actually farmland up to the late 1800s. What really allowed this area to develop quickly was the introduction of streetcar lines. You get these trolley tracks that are below us here. This became known as the streetcar suburb. So when the 1880s, 1890s, the streetcars started to come through, this area started to develop more rapidly. And just before the kind of the big wave of development, University of Pennsylvania moved out here in the 1870s. Before that, they were actually at 9th and Pine Street area, and that's where Pennsylvania Hospital still is today. Philadelphia's got the most murals in any U.S. city, about 4,000 throughout the different neighborhoods. First mural you're going to see is of Richard Allen. You can just see his forehead right now, peeking up above the trees. But Richard Allen over there, he's a man who was born into slavery in the 1700s. He had to buy his own freedom after toiling away in Delaware. Richard Allen came to Philadelphia. He wanted to worship at St. George's Methodist Church. He was told he could, but he'd have to sit in separate seating from the white members. And that segregation didn't sit well with Richard Allen, so he eventually left and he formed his own church, Mother Bethel. In 1816, Mother Bethel Church on 6th Street, it got together with some other black congregations to form the African Methodist Episcopal denomination. And at least, I'm not sure if it still is, but this was at one point the headquarters for the AME Church in Philadelphia. And the Mother Bethel Church itself, we're going to see a little bit later on our route when we get to 6th Street. On our left side, great place to eat like spicy Chinese food. Actually, no, nope, it is, yep, over there, yep, Handy Nasty, or Han Dynasty, but Handy Nasty for those in the know. So everything on there at a 1 to 10 spice level, 10 the spiciest, 1 the most mild. Kind of a wuss, I go for about a 4 when I order there. Really good Dan noodles and some other stuff, Handy Nasty. Get your first view of the skyline ahead of us. Our tallest buildings, tallest of the bunch, is the Comcast Technology Center. You have the thin spire at the top of it there. So that is 1,120 feet. Just beyond it is Comcast Center number 1, our second tallest building at 975. And then the third tallest building with the needle structure at the top of it, that's One Liberty Place at 850 feet. Also ahead of us there is a pyramid at the top that is 1735 Market Street, for a long time known as the Mellon Bank Center. And that pyramid at the top of it is home to an exclusive social club, fittingly called the Pyramid Club. Heading into the area of Drexel University. Drexel University was founded by Anthony J. Drexel, a financier. His partner was J.P. Morgan. And a relative of Anthony J. Drexel was Catherine Drexel, the first U.S. citizen to be canonized by the Catholic Church. Catherine Drexel was a nun who was known for her missionary work with Native Americans. We're going to see the mascot of Drexel University coming up on your right side here, the Drexel Dragon. Very friendly portrayal of the Drexel Dragon with his claw raised to shake your hand there. The Drexel campus, the Paul Peck Center, actually dates back to the 1870s. It was built as the Centennial Bank. So we've got some really cool architectural work designed by Frank Furness, noted Philadelphia-based architect. Frank Furness, really a master of the Victorian Gothic style. They're taking what was then contemporary Victorian architecture and melding it with more, Gothic medieval flair. To our left side, you can see the Seerah Center, opened late 2005, designed by Cesar Pelli, connected to our 30th Street railway station. And the Seerah Center looks so off-kilter, it doesn't have the right angles on the exterior. And each space of the building's a different shape. So the building looks different, depending which side you're seeing it from. We're actually end up seeing it, I think, from all sides in the course of our tour. On the next block on your left side is the 30th Street Railway Station. When this train station opened in the 1930s, it was the second largest train station in America, second in size only to Union Station in Washington, D.C. seen in some movies. You can see it from the opening scenes of the movie Witness with Harrison Ford, some of the closing scenes of my favorite movie, or at least my favorite Philadelphia movie, Trading Places, Betty Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. You also can see it in the movie Blowout in 1981 with John Travolta and John Lithgow. If you get a chance to walk through 30th Street Station, definitely visit the History of Transportation mural. So it's like a bas-relief kind of artwork, so it actually sticks out from the side of the wall. And it's the development of transportation from kind of the invention of the wheel all the way up to what was, at the time, the cutting edge, and that was the dirigible, the airship. And across from our 30th Street Station, you have on your right side here the old main post office for Philadelphia. No longer a post office, I think the main tenant now is the IRS, but there is still carved above the entranceway there, so the United States Post Office. And also the entranceway, a really cool stylized stool with a full Art Deco detail there, the entrance. And it's actually now in the old post office building right there. It's the regional offices for the IRS. Led across the Schuylkill River. So the Schuylkill River, just ahead of us, is named by the Dutch traders. Some of the first Europeans to pass through the area back in the 1600s, before it was part of an English colony. And Schuylkill roughly translates to the Hidden River. Dutch traders called it the Hidden River, the Schuylkill, because they couldn't really see it until they were on top of it, and how dense the vegetation was along the river's mouth, looking at the Delaware River, just north of the present location of the International Airport. The Schuylkill River forms the dividing line between what we consider University City in West Philadelphia behind us and Center City ahead of us here. Along the east bank of the Schuylkill River, the very popular recreational path. The city took an old railway bed and turned it into a recreational path. Connects all the way out to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Connects along the Canal Towpath in the Manioc neighborhood of the city. In the distance ahead of us, you can see the west side of Philadelphia City Hall. City Hall, a massive structure, takes up a full city block. Sits in the middle of our Market Street here, runs east-west, and Broad Street runs north-south. To the right of us, the Mural Museum focuses on medicine and surgery from the 1800s. The Mural Museum's tagline is disturbingly informative. You ever want to see a glass case full of foreign objects or pulled out of people's stomachs during surgery? Well, then the Mural Museum over there is your kind of place. On the side of this fire station of a mural, it's been obscured from view by our perspective, but it's a really nice panoramic view of Philadelphia. You learn more about Philadelphia's many murals by visiting muralarts.org. City Hall that we're approaching here, designed in the French Second Empire style, which is characterized by three main features: the mansard roof, solid roof, the windows stick out from it, doubled columns, most of the pillars and the facade come in sets of two, also characterized by symmetry, each architectural detail balanced out by something else. The French Second Empire style was very popular. Construction begun on City Hall in 1871, but not so popular. The construction was finally finished 30 years later in 1901. Critics of our city halls that look like an overblown Victorian wedding cake. Next corner on our left side, it's the closer to 1735 Market Street. You saw the distance with the pyramid structure up top. Southeast is starting with the movie Philadelphia, the Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, and the early 90s drama. This building directly to our left was home to the law office. The Tom Hanks character is wrongly fired from after it's uncovered he's gay and living with AIDS. And our third tallest building, One Liberty Place, on the right side here. The first floor of One Liberty Place, the shopping mall, the shops at Liberty Place. First thing to say that was built taller than City Hall's tower. It surpassed City Hall in 1986, finished the following year. City Hall's tower ahead of us there, 540 47 feet to the top of it. At the top of the tower is the statue of William Penn. There he's found in Philadelphia and all of Pennsylvania in the 1680s. It's the tallest statue up to any building in the nation. It's 38 feet tall, the statue of William Penn, Philadelphia's founder. To the right of us here, a sculpture by the late Claus Oldenburg. Oldenburg passed away last month at the age of 93. Oldenburg's trademark portraying everyday objects on an absolutely massive scale. One of his sculptures is actually on the Penn campus. The Broken Button sculpture in front of the main library on Locust Walk. But this is his clothespin. Oldenburg once said he put this giant clothespin across from City Hall, so City Hall's politicians could use it to air out their dirty laundry. He ultimately said the two ends of it represent lovers embracing and kissing. Once we turn ahead of us, you're going to see a curving bronze sculpture, the Triune, designed by Robert Angman, built in 1975. It celebrates the unity of industry, government, and community. We're coming out of the south side of City Hall. Coming up on our left side of the south side of City Hall, we're going to see a statue of Philadelphia civil rights activist Octavius Cato. In 1867, Octavius Cato successfully fought to end the segregation of the horse-drawn trolley system in the city. Then in 1871, Octavius Cato fought to protect the voting rights of newly enfranchised black Philadelphians. Octavius Cato was murdered on Election Day of 1871. He voted, was then followed from the polls by an angry white man with a gun, was intimidating black voters, and he was shot to death. The Octavius Cato Memorial, dedicated and unveiled September of 2017, the first and still only statue of an African-American individual on public land anywhere in the city. We're now on South Broad Street. Coming up into one more block on our right side with the curved staircases out front, we're going to see the Philadelphia Union League. The Union League was established in 1862 as a Republican Party social club, raising money for Abraham Lincoln's re-election campaign and trying to stem the tide of Confederate sympathy among wealthy businessmen in the city. This is an elite and conservative social club. Across to our left, now the offices of the Wells Fargo Bank, and thankfully also used the film in the movie Trading Places, Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, 1983 comedy, was the offices of the despicable Randolph and Mortimer Duke. Now on our right side, past the next traffic light, we're going to see the Academy of Music, which opened in 1857, home to the opera and ballet companies of the city. It was also home to the Philadelphia Orchestra until 2001. In the main hall of the Academy of Music, the Philadelphia Orchestra recorded all the orchestral music for Disney's Fantasia movie, directed by Leopold Stokowski. Stokowski is actually shown in Fantasia shaking hands with Mickey Mouse in an early combination of live action and animation. Also on the entranceway of the Academy of Music, a giant picture of R&B diva Chaka Khan. She graced the stage of the Academy of Music in June of this year. Since 2001, the Philadelphia Orchestra has been performing at the Kimmel Center. That has us to the right, a huge glass burial vault forms the ceiling. The South Broad Street, often called the Avenue of the Arts, because many performing arts venues and institutions that line it. Also, if you get South Broad Street all the way to its end, about 3 miles down, you eventually end up with a sports complex, and that is where the stadiums and arenas are. The major league teams, Flyers, 76ers, Phillies, and the Eagles. Across the Kimmel Center, there used to be a musical landmark in the city. They've now just about completed a condo high-rise, but on that site, until 2010, was the offices of Philadelphia International Records, record label of Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. On that side, they have created the sound of Philadelphia, with such soul groups as Harold, Melvin, and the Blue Notes, the OJs, the Intruders, the late great Billy Paul, Patti LaBelle, and many others. The offices were damaged in arson fire beyond repair in early 2010. Eventually was considered structurally unsound and demolished. Back on the right side here with the columns and the banners, that as Hamilton Hall of the University of the Arts. This university building was constructed in the 1840s, designed by John Haviland. John Haviland also designed Eastern State Penitentiary, that passed later in the route. Before the building became part of the university, it was an asylum for the deaf and the blind. In a moment, we'll make a left onto Pine Street. And up top, just mind you ahead, you have a full cavalcade here of low-hanging tree branches. On our left side, past the next traffic light, this is down at ground level a mural, and it's got a theme to it, which you might figure out. On the mural, you're going to see Benjamin Franklin, Frankie Avalon, Frankfurt of the Hot Dog, the late great Aretha Franklin, Congressman Barney Frank Frankenstein, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, guitarist and singer Frank Zappa,